have the final say, I promise. Appreciate it. Thank you. Go ahead.
As I was saying, I've had discussions with several people in the community over the past couple of weeks, and you know, I think I've got a general idea about what people want to see, but maybe the other board members need to do the same thing. I'm not prepared tonight to define the mission of this committee. I think I would be in December, and I think that we owe it to those who will be submitting applications to have some scope defined, have some mission defined before we go about this.
With the purpose of keeping the board as undivided as possible, I'll withdraw my suggestion.
I'm just concerned that we don't just, because after the December meeting, we're right into the holidays. So, you know, the new year is the next thing that comes along. I'm just concerned that it's almost a 3-month period where nothing happens. And I'm not sure if that's productive or not.
Well, my sense is that it's going to take a minimum of 6 months before we get to the point where we're ready to talk about a rate increase again anyway. And now that we find ourselves in the situation we're in, I think the first lesson learned is let's not hurry. Let's take our time.
I was just thinking that we would take applications so we actually have, you know, live bodies that are wishing to become involved. We thought it would be a short-term thing, and they come in, do the research, and then say yes, they understand it or want more information.
Well, here's my suggestion. I'll put it in the form of a motion. I move that the ad hoc committee, apparently it's Joan and Peter, come to the board with a recommendation in December after speaking with the community and figuring out what the mission of this commission or committee ought to be.
I have no problem, but I think I would like to allow people to apply just so that we have names on file so we don't have to go and beat the bushes at that time.
Yeah, again, I think it's a problem of applying for what, you know, but.
So everybody said their piece? This is what I think. I think that I've witnessed an incredible process in my community, which I admire and respect. And I want to stand back and I want to give the folks the opportunity to do what they've told us they think they can do. I don't want to, they're organized, they seem united. I see business people, successful business people, I see citizens, I see residents, I see retired people with expertise. I don't think we have to absorb them into the process like Disneyland tours and show them the CCSD. They feel that they have educated themselves. I think they want more time. Let them come to us with the recommendations that they feel they are in a position now to demonstrate.
I think that's very well. That's very well spoken, and
I'm not quite finished yet.
I agree. So far, I agree.
Maybe you change your mind when you have the rest of it. So, my suggestion is that instead of kind of adopting these folks, I would welcome any and all suggestions as to the following, because this is what I attempted to do. I would love input from my community as to what kind of rates are necessary to, quote, pay the operating expenses of the agency. And this language, by the way, comes from the leading case in this area that I think would be helpful, but I can make a copy of this for those folks who want it. So what I'm looking for is input and very specific. I want numbers from the community, from the protesters. And remember, I'm a 60s kid. I love protests, and I think it's great. But this is what I would like. I would like some input as to how to pay the operating expenses of the agency, provide for repairs and depreciation of works, provide a reasonable surplus for improvements, extensions, and enlargements, pay the interest on any bonded debt, and provide a sinking or other fund for the payment of the principal of such debt as it may become due. That language is our constitutional burden and what we have tried to carry out unsuccessfully over the protest. So logically, it seems to me, I would now invite all those folks. I know I've heard from engineers, I've heard from finance people, I think even I heard from a banker, a retired banker. I've heard from business people who work with these kind of issues every day. You organize, get together, give us something. I'm not sure if we need 6 months, maybe 90 days, I don't know. But now that you got the energy, exploit it and give us the numbers that you feel are more accurate and more compassionate to allow the business to continue operating profitably and at the same time satisfy what most of the citizens, if not all, want CCSD to do. That's my thoughts.
As a concept, I think your approach is a good one. The one potentially significant problem is when you start talking about concepts such as operating costs and terms like gross revenues, net revenues, and so forth, particularly as it relates to bond covenants, you get into some pretty technical territory. And I think the board needs to divine a way to grapple with some of these issues that have come to the surface over the last couple of weeks and figure out how to present the true financial condition of the district.
Yes.
This is quite a technical area, and there are issues like how staff time is allocated in terms of time spent on capital projects and whether that staff time should be allocated to capital budgets or to the operating budget. Whether or not depreciation is counted in terms of the district's obligations under its bond covenants to maintain a certain level of revenue. Issues like that. There are bond lawyers and certified public accountants who get paid handsomely for figuring these things out. In the short time that I've had to dig into some of these issues over the past couple of weeks, I think there are some concepts that we need to wrestle with to make sure that the financial statements that we're presenting are really reflective of the true financial condition of the district.
Yes.
So to just expect citizens on their own to come to terms with these issues might be asking a little much. If there's a way that we can help them individually or collectively, I think that would be a wise move.
That was really the concept we were trying to approach at the beginning, that we won't want 12 people each coming in asking for the same information. We'd hope that perhaps 2 people who have a financial background, for example, might want to come in and go through just that subject. But in addition, there's a lot more subjects, that is the actual plant we have, the water and sewer and so on. People are going to go around and just see whether our plant needs upgrading, that kind of thing, which is technical in itself, so there are many areas which we think will be very worthwhile for our citizens to, get involved in. I think we're all looking at the same thing, which is to get information out to people, and so the understanding is between all of us. It's just the process where I guess we're debating at the moment.
Well, yeah, I understand the concept. I, for one, would like to see some consensus among the board members and the staff for openers about what the accounting rules are that apply to our situation, what our credit rating really is on Wall Street. I mean, for goodness sakes, we just did a refinancing in 2006, I believe, and we had absolutely no problem. Yet what we hear is that we're in violation of our bond covenants. Well, if we're in violation of our bond covenants now, we were in violation of our bond covenants then. And what lender is going to lend us money if we're truly in violation of our bond covenants? I submit that we're not. But we seem to have a split of opinion on that issue. Before we launch into this effort, I think we need to find a way to get at the true financial condition of the district so that at least everybody understands what the rules of the game are as we launch into this effort to have this collaborative, cooperative arrangement with the community.
To me, as a board member, I feel that we've had excellent support and information from our staff, and I had no reason to doubt what they've told us. So what process were you thinking that we would engage in to find out more than we already know?
Well, I don't want to get into a debate about who's right and who's wrong, other than to say that I doubt that a very thorough job was done in terms of an analysis of the bond covenants that we have and whether or not we're actually in default. I have my own reasons for believing that. I don't want to cast any aspersions, but I do want to get at the truth. And that is going to take some time. And it's going to take, it may take expertise beyond the expertise that we have here at the district.
So what direction would we give staff on that? Or us as the board members, what are you, how are we going to divine?
I don't know, but I can think about it between now and the meeting in December and probably come up with some suggestions, as I think we all could.
Just a procedural thing. Director Sanders made a motion which did not have a second.
I withdraw the
You
motion.
withdrew the motion?
Doesn't say anyway we have to do anything. I mean,
Right.
what I personally asked was just to invite. I think that the community is motivated, and they don't have to wait for us to do anything.
No, I agree 100% with what you're saying. The only issue, Mr. President, I think is somehow we need to come to terms with what the rules of the accounting game are and what the true financial picture of the district is. And I, for one, believe that there is a little bit different story to tell than what is reflected in our financial statements.
Why can't we do both? Why can't we pursue what you're talking about and at the same time have the community
Sure.
Get involved from their point of view to us?
I don't have any problem with that at all.
I mean, isn't that what Cambridge's about?
Absolutely.
You know?